contains true stories of rescues. All of the 911 calls you will hear are real. Whenever possible, the actual people involved have helped us reconstruct the events as they happened.
It's a shameful truth that our country has one of the worst infant mortality rates of any industrialized nation. Last year, 1 out of every 115 babies in the United States died within the first 4 weeks of life. This story, it's the reality of life at the University of Cincinnati's for newborn babies need care. A 7 months pregnant woman is being rushed to University Hospital.
Baby girl right here, a baby girl. Where is she?
There have been babies born from millions of years before there were physicians to help in their care, and many of those babies died.
Here, pink and breathing and crying. Just show me the way. We got a baby. Here she is.
Call PEDS. 333, call PEDS.
Okay. There you go.
The 3-pound, 2-ounce girl was 7 weeks early. But though born in an ambulance, this premature baby was lucky enough to have no major problems.
Right there.
The next night, 18-year-old Heidi Sawyer is in the advanced stages of labor, 2 months before her due date, with her mother, Kathy McCarley, at her side.
When they said they were going to take her right then and there, I got upset.
How you doing, Heidi? Good.
Dr. Robert Jacobson must operate to save her baby.
Heidi's baby was in a breech presentation. That means the butt was first. Because the baby was premature, we would normally perform a cesarean section to prevent birth trauma.
Okay, here comes your baby. Baby's bottom's out.
There you go.
Right here. The doctor will tell us what it is in just a minute.
Here we go.
It's a little girl.
740.
740, okay? How you doing? Huh? Now, they may be giving her oxygen. You may not hear her cry right away. Okay?
She was pretty blue and actually pretty limp.
Come on, little girl. Come on, babe.
A crying baby is a baby that's breathing, and that's always a real welcome sign.
Do you have a name for her?
Yeah.
What is it?
Destiny Renee.
Destiny Renee. Very pretty.
Premature babies will often do well for the first few minutes or so and then develop more respiratory distress. You know that their lungs aren't mature.
We've given you some medicine.
It was really hard because I wanted to hold her. I wanted her close to me.
Now, the pediatricians are going to take her to the nursery.
I didn't know what to think, if she was okay or not.
3 3/4 pounds.
Because Destiny's lungs are not completely formed yet, as with most preemies, the risk of infection is great.
We'll keep an eye on her.
When we continue,
you just want to do your best because here is someone's child and they need you, and you want to do everything that you can and that you've been trained to do.
2 nights later, a Children's Hospital neonatal transport team is being sent to a nearby hospital to pick up a newborn baby who's critically ill.
I'll let you finish this. I'm going to get some toxic land in town.
Your adrenaline's flowing, and you just want to do your best because here is someone's child, and they need you. And you want to do everything that you can and that you've been trained to do to save their life. We arrived to find a very sick infant. It was a widespread systemic infection.
When was the platelet count?
Before the baby is transported, Dr. Maria Cruz has to explain the one-day-old boy's situation to his parents, Robert and Karen Hirth.
You never imagine it happening to you. You could tell on their faces that it was bad. I mean, you can tell by the way they were working on him that this baby was, I mean, who knows if it was going to live or not.
It's so painful because you can see the parents who love the baby so much suffer through everything.
When we moved him over the isolette, he was like a limp rag. There was no fight to him. He wouldn't flinch. He was going downhill very fast. He definitely needed extreme critical care. I was afraid that, you know, he might arrest en route back.
Ready? It was a pretty smooth turnover, getting him into his own bed.
You have to find out what kind of infection the baby is suffering from so that you know what kind of medication to give to this baby. It's most probably group B streptococcus, and so we start giving the antibiotics, but the antibiotics still take time to work.
The baby's father, Robert, has driven over immediately to be close to his son.
Does he have a name yet?
Jonathan.
Jonathan? That's great. Is this your first? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. Well, you're going through a lot already. Yeah.
There's always a hope, and that's what keeps most parents going.
That same night, another critically ill newborn is transferred to the neonatal unit of Children's Hospital. The baby had been born unable to breathe on his own.
This child was born with a defect in his diaphragm.
Surgeon Victor Garcia takes over the care of the infant, Cody Bullock.
When you have a defect there, those organs that are normally in the abdomen can find their way up into the chest, and it interferes with the development of the lung. One has to do an emergency procedure, otherwise that child will suffer a premature death.
Cody's father, Jason, is allowed to see his baby just before he's taken into surgery.
I was thinking that this can't be happening. Oh, geez, is he gonna live, you know? How's he gonna be if he does make it? You know, what's really wrong with him? The thoughts are running wild through your head.
Gently. You're dealing with tissues that are extraordinarily fragile. You're dealing with infants who are very delicate. And the threshold between a good result and a bad result is a very low one.
There we are. It's a big defect, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to just very delicately free this up, okay? Very gently now so we don't tear that liver. That's where the hole was. Now it's all closed up. This is just a beginning. Even though we fixed this part, it's still yet to be determined whether the lungs are developed enough so that the baby will be able to breathe on his own. So even though he looks okay now, we have yet to see.
Two days after her birth, 18-year-old Heidi Sawyer's premature baby is doing much better, but must remain in intensive care.
When I go to sleep, I think about her. I think about how her life will be when she comes home. And I want it to happen now instead of waiting. I want to get her home. I just hope that she lives a normal life. I love her. I know when I get her home, I won't put her down.
1 week after his birth, Jonathan Hirth is still battling his Group B streptococcus infection.
Jody, Mrs. Jordan, is on band 0.
His parents refuse to give up hope.
Yeah, you're going to smile, aren't you? Yeah. You going to wake up? You going to wake up? You going to wake up? You going to start breathing, huh? You going to start it? You going to try, huh? You going to try? The doctors or the nurses says he can hear you and feel you, so we just sit there and talk to him all day and play with him all day and just make sure that he knows that we're there. See you moving your eye a little. Yeah, I see that eye moving. Come on, grab it. Come on.
Just let him know we're there and we care for him, and hopefully he'll respond a lot better, knowing that he's got some loving parents waiting for him to come through.
The next day, Dr. Jonathan Wispey gives Karen an update on her son, Jonathan. What they had feared most has happened.
Group B, streptococcus, it's an infection that starts in the lungs, goes to the blood, and frequently goes to the brain, and that's what it has done in this baby. The meningitis is what could do it, basically, yeah. You know, babies who get Group B strep meningitis, which is the infection he's got, probably half of them have some permanent kind of consequences from it.
He's been rushing.
Down the hall, Angela and Jason Bullock look in on their 8-day-old son, Cody, who's slowly recovering from the surgery to repair his diaphragm.
It reassures you when you go in and you see him and he wakes up or something, or he cries or anything. You just notice each little thing. That's cute. That's cute.
One month after Jonathan Hirth was born, Karen and Robert's son died as a result of the severe brain damage he had suffered.
You prepare for 9 months to have a baby and you want to bring it home, and then when something like it happens and you know it's not going to last, you take every little moment and cherish as much as you can, because you know that's all you're going to have to last you a lifetime.
Group B streptococcus is a common bacteria which many mothers-to-be carry without any problems. But like Jonathan, babies can catch it during the birth and suffer complications.
When you hear strep, you think of strep throat. No one's really heard of Group B strep. It's just a simple urine test to be tested for Group B strep. We want to let the mothers and fathers know about the disease so they can ask their doctor about it.
We had a son and he was taken away from us. The pain gets easier as time goes on, but it's still there.
He was my first. He will always be my first. The other kids that we will have, they will know that they have a little angel up in heaven. I'll never forget him.
A few days after her original due date, Destiny Renee Sawyer finally went home. Although she was born 7 weeks premature, she's now a healthy baby girl.
They took good care of Destiny. She's just a joy. I'm glad to have her home.
Watching her grow up makes me happy. She does a lot of things that'll amaze a person.
"12 weeks after his surgery, Cody Bullock was finally allowed to go home. But complications set in, and within a week, he was back in the hospital.
It was probably the most frustrating time, because when you get him home, you expect to keep him there, and I didn't expect to have to bring him back again so soon. He's got so much personality and so much charm. He's just so funny.
He's a little trooper, and he makes me real proud. And he is a beautiful baby boy.
I just want him to be okay and as close to normal as they can get him, but I'll take him whichever way they give him to me. I don't mind.